Every July 25th, the Church celebrates the feast of St. James the Greater, apostle, martyr, and patron of pilgrims. He was among the first to leave everything behind and follow Christ, and in the centuries that followed his death, his name would become woven into one of the most enduring acts of faith the world has ever known, the Camino de Santiago. But the Camino is more than a map of yellow arrows. It is a trail worn deep by 1,000 years of footsteps and prayers. It is a walk, yes, but it is also a mirror, a sanctuary, a threshold. It has changed lives, softened hearts, and opened the door to healing for countless souls across time. Some who walk it come with great faith. Some come with questions, and some come carrying nothing but grief and hope. This is the story of that way, of its origins, its beauty, and its quiet power to transform those who say yes to the journey. Whether you have already walked it or dream of walking it someday, whether you are Catholic or curious or simply longing for something deeper, this is an invitation to reflect, to remember, to imagine what might happen if you simply began to walk. Let us begin with the apostle who walked with Christ himself. They called him Son of Thunder. St. James the Greater, a fisherman by trade, a brother to John, an ordinary man with calloused hands and sun-worn skin. And yet, when a rabbi named Jesus walked past his boat on the shores of Galilee and said 2 words, "Follow me," James didn't hesitate. He left his nets, he left his father, he left everything. And from that moment on, James walked not only behind the Lord, but beside him, through dusty roads and crowded villages, through deserts that cracked the earth and hearts that cried for healing. James was there. He saw the blind regain their sight, the lame stand, the dead rise, and bread stretched to feed a sea of hungry souls. He stood on the Mount of Transfiguration, where Christ's glory was revealed in blinding light. And he fell asleep in the Garden of Gethsemane, where sorrow bled like sweat from the Savior's brow. And after the ascension, when the apostles scattered to the corners of the world, James went west, beyond the Roman borders, beyond the comfort of home, into the wild hills of Hispania, what we now call Spain. And there, according to tradition, he preached the gospel to a people unfamiliar with the God he loved, planting not only seeds of faith, but something deeper, a path, a longing, a way. Centuries passed. His voice faded into legend. His body was taken back across the sea. And yet, somehow, the footsteps never stopped. That path became pilgrimage. And today, it's called the Camino de Santiago, the Way of St. James. It stretches over 500 miles, winding through thick forests, golden wheat fields, stone villages where time moves slowly, and mountains that seem to scrape the heavens. It begins in the heart of France, but really, it begins in the heart of each pilgrim. Because the Camino is not just a trail, not really. It is not a race, not a tour, not a hiker's holiday. It is something older, something deeper, something strangely alive. It is a road worn by 1,000 years of prayers. A path soaked in silence and story, a ribbon of dirt and stone that remembers every footfall, every heartbreak, every hope. It's a place where silence has weight and strangers become companions, not just for a few miles, but sometimes for life. The Camino is a mirror, not always a gentle one. It shows you who you are, and sometimes who you are not yet. Some walk to give thanks, some walk to heal, others walk to grieve. a lost loved one, a lost self, a lost way forward. But all of them, all of us, are answering the same quiet invitation. Come, walk. Come be broken, come be remade. This is the way of St. James. And whether you come with faith, with questions, or with none at all, you are welcome here. Not only by the church, not only by the pilgrims who walked before you, but by the road itself, worn soft by centuries of grace and grief. The Camino does not ask for your perfection. It only asks for your presence. So if you are tired, come walk. If you are searching, come walk. If you are grieving, healing, rebuilding, or remembering who you are, then you are already a pilgrim. And St. James, apostle, martyr, son of thunder, protector of Spain, walks beside you still. The Camino will meet you exactly where you are, but it will not leave you there. It begins simply. You rise in the grey hush of early morning, feet swollen from the day before, back still stiff from a hostel bunk. You lace your shoes slowly, deliberately. You shrug your pack over your shoulders, heavier than it seemed yesterday, and you walk. The way is marked by yellow arrows and scallop shells, symbols painted on walls, carved into stone, hung from your bag, like a quiet prayer, swinging with each step. At first, it feels like any other hike, a journey with a map, a beginning, an end. But the Camino is no ordinary road, and soon it begins to speak. Not in words, but in silence, in sweat, in aching knees and sore feet, in the rhythm of your breath as it finds the pace of your soul. You pass fields that shimmer gold beneath the rising sun, and forests that close around you like a cathedral of leaves. You hear cowbells in the distance, laughter from a nearby bar, and somewhere, faintly, the echo of your own questions. The Camino peels you back, layer by layer. The weight of your pack becomes the weight of your past. The blisters become reminders of places still tender. The long, quiet stretches, those are the moments that undo you. You may find yourself crying beside a wheat field, not from pain, but from release. Something inside you finally has room to breathe. Grief that was buried, longings you silenced, forgiveness you hadn't allowed yourself to give. And then, just when you think the road is too long, someone appears beside you. A stranger from another country, a nurse from Korea, a retired teacher from Germany, a teenager from Brazil. You speak different languages, but somehow you understand each other perfectly. You share water, blister tape, silence. Sometimes you walk together for hours, sometimes for days, sometimes just for 10 minutes. And then, as quickly as they came, they're gone again. That too is part of the way. There are moments of joy, unexpected meals, breathtaking views, a café con leche in the sun. But there are also days of rain that won't stop, of wind that howls across the meseta, of aching hips, raw toes, and a weariness that sinks into your bones. And yet, there is a grace in the struggle, because the Camino was never about comfort. It was always about conversion, not just of religion, but of the heart, the mind, the very way you move through the world. It teaches you to slow down, to listen, to receive, to discover that solitude is not the same as loneliness, that discomfort is not the same as defeat, that silence, when entered fully, becomes something sacred. And somewhere, Somewhere between that first step and your arrival in Santiago, you realize you're not walking to find St. James. You're walking to remember that he's been walking with you the whole time. Then, one morning, after many mornings, after miles that turned into weeks, after blisters and blessings, after questions and quiet, you crest a final hill. The sun is just rising and the air carries something old. You hear it before you see it. The haunting cry of bagpipes echoing through ancient stone streets. It pulls you forward, not with urgency, but with recognition. And then there it is, the spires, the bells, the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela. You stand still for a moment, because this is not just a place, it is a longing fulfilled. You descend slowly, reverently, into the city's winding alleys and open squares. The scallop shells carved into walls seem to smile now. The cobblestones carry the memory of 10 centuries of pilgrims, and your steps, though tired, feel lighter. You are sore, you are weathered, you are changed, and still, somehow, unfinished. You arrive at the great doors of the cathedral, the ones worn smooth by 1,000 years of hands. You cross the threshold. Incense clings to the air like memory. The light filters through stained glass like a benediction. The silence is not empty. It is full of stories, of prayers, of presence. You step forward slowly. Your knees ache, but you kneel. And before you, the tomb. The relics of St. James the Greater. The man who walked with Christ, the man who sailed west to preach hope at the world's edge, the man who now lies beneath the altar, not as a relic of the past, but as a companion in the present. You place your hand on the pillar, that smooth, worn column touched by millions before you, and in that moment, you are part of something larger than yourself. You may weep, not because you've reached the end, but because something in you has finally begun. Some pilgrims arrive in Compostela expecting celebration, fanfare, trumpets, cheers, but more often they find something quieter, something deeper, a stillness, a sacred hush. It is in that hush that the Camino speaks its final words. You are not alone. You never were. St. James is here. Not as a statue, not as a myth, but as a brother who remembers what it means to walk, to suffer, to hope. He is here not only as the patron of Spain, but as the protector of all who dare to move toward healing, who risk the road, who carry burdens not just on their backs, but in their souls. And in that cathedral, beneath those vaulting arches, you come to know the weight of grace, not crushing, but anchoring. The Camino does not give you all the answers, but it does give you the right question. Now that you have arrived, how will you walk the rest of your life? The Camino never really ends. Yes, the walking ends, the certificate is stamped, rolled, and tucked into a backpack. The pilgrim mass is over. The incense fades. The cathedral doors close softly behind you. Your shoes are muddy, worn, and tired. Your body begins to rest. But something lingers, because the Camino is not only a place you walked. It is now a place that walks with you. It shows up days, even months later, in the way you greet a stranger on the street, in the way you carry your groceries, in the way you wait in silence at a red light, and don't rush the moment. It shows up in whispered prayers, half-formed, barely audible, but deeply sincere. It shows up in your capacity to sit with pain, your newfound ease with solitude, your deeper reverence for simplicity. Because once you've walked the Camino, something inside you stays open. The road doesn't close, it just changes direction. You begin to see the world and yourself differently. You begin to understand that everyone you pass, in line at the store, in traffic, at church, is carrying something. Some invisible pack on their shoulders. A grief, a memory, a hope not yet spoken. You begin to listen more, judge less, laugh more freely, love more willingly. You see now that we're all pilgrims, whether we wear boots or not. We're all trying to find something, a sense of meaning, a bit of beauty, a sliver of mercy, a reason to keep walking. And maybe, just maybe, you don't need to have all the answers anymore. You don't have to be Catholic to walk the Camino. You don't have to be devout. You don't even have to believe in God when you begin. But somewhere along the way, in the morning mist, in a shared piece of bread, in the hand of a stranger who helps you up from a fall, you may begin to wonder. And wonder often leads to belief, because the Camino is Catholic at its heart. Not because it fences anyone out, but because it flings the gates wide open. It's rooted in a tradition that has always been about welcome. A church that has stumbled, yes, but never stopped offering grace. A Savior who called fishermen, tax collectors, doubters, and deniers, and called them friends. St. James knew that kind of grace. He walked beside the one who embodied it. He left his nets, his family, his old life, to follow a man with no place to lay his head. He preached the gospel on the coasts of Spain, was martyred in Jerusalem, and yet, somehow, his bones became the destination of millions. Why? Because he still walks. As he once protected Spain during its darkest hours, now he walks beside pilgrims in their quietest battles. The doubts, the griefs, the questions no one else sees. He walks beside them all, believer and skeptic alike, not to judge, but to accompany. So whether you walk next spring or 10 springs from now, whether you make it 5 miles or 500, whether your journey begins with faith or only a flicker of curiosity, know this: the invitation has already been written. It is waiting in your heart. The yellow arrow is already pointing forward. And the voice that once spoke by the Sea of Galilee may be whispering to you now, as he did to James. Come, follow me. So take your first step. Let the road unfold. Let your heart be made soft again. And whether your Camino begins tomorrow, or whether it's already begun in some quiet way you didn't notice, may St. James walk beside you. Always. Buen Camino, pilgrim. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If this video spoke to you, if you're feeling the pull of the Camino or know someone who is, please consider giving it a like, sharing it with a friend, and subscribing to the channel. It helps us reach more souls seeking meaning, healing, and hope. Whether your Camino is just beginning or still a dream in your heart, know that you're not alone on the road ahead. Until next time, God bless you, and Buen Camino.